Hello viewers, welcome to our daily V News, and here are the headlines.
State President Nguyen Tan Dung welcomes newly accredited ambassadors. Prime Minister Nguyen Tan Dung receives Prince Andrew of the UK. Border provinces of Vietnam, Laos and Thailand step up cooperation.
State President Nguyen Tan Dung welcomed newly accredited ambassadors from Laos, the Republic of Ghana, and the Republic of Macedonia, who presented their credentials to the Vietnamese leader in Hanoi on November 13.
Receiving Lao Ambassador Phon Savan from Vihan, the President suggested the two countries review their past cooperation and chart another collaboration plan for the next 5 years, bringing practical benefits to both sides. The ambassador voiced his hope for more assistance from Vietnam, especially when the two countries are preparing for their party congresses and meetings between the two political bureaus and governments in 2016, the year Laos will play the role of ASEAN chair. He pledged to do his utmost to fulfill his task, contributing to preserving and enhancing the comprehensive cooperation, friendship, and special solidarity between the two countries. At a meeting with Ghana Ambassador Benjamin Clement Egan, President Sang proposed the two countries further their collaboration in other spheres like telecommunications and agriculture. The Ghana ambassador suggested the two countries increase people-to-people exchange and encourage their businesses to seek cooperation opportunities. He called on Vietnam to join Ghana's initiative for the South-South Cooperation Exchange Mechanism, an initiative aimed at strengthening exchange and collaboration between developing countries in the fields of environment and sustainable development. Ghana will establish an honorary consul mechanism in Vietnam in the near future to facilitate the travel and information sharing between the two countries' businesses. Welcoming Macedonia Ambassador Ilija Isashlovsky, President Sang suggested both sides review and supplement documents to create a legal framework that facilitates the operation of their enterprises. Ambassador Ilija Isashlovsky proposed opening representative mechanisms of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the respective countries to promote economic, trade, and investment links. Macedonia has granted scholarships to Vietnamese students to bring the two countries closer in the future, he said.
Prime Minister Nguyen Tan Dung hosted a reception in Hanoi on November 13 for Prince Andrew, Duke of York.
At the meeting, Prime Minister Nguyen Tan Dung spoke highly of the outcome of talks between Prince Andrew and leaders of the Ministry of Investment and Planning on supporting business startup and developing small and medium-sized enterprises in Vietnam. The government leader said he believes that the Prince initiative will soon be realized, contributing to further the strategic partnership between the two countries. Vietnam places importance to and wants to practically cooperate with the UK in all fields, especially in economy, trade and investment, he added. For his part, Prince Andrew said he will discuss with Vietnamese agencies and business communities in both countries to work out detailed action plan for the initiative next year. As such, Vietnam will be able to build a model to connect and support business startup, thus gradually build a legal framework for the startup and development of small and medium-sized enterprises, in line with the country's business environment, he noted.
Quang Tri Province of Vietnam, Savannakhet of Laos, and Muk Dahan of Thailand have agreed to make joint efforts to boost cross-border tourism, trade and investment activities. The agreement was made at a conference on cooperation in tourism, trade, investment and media in Dong Ha City, the central province of Quang Tri, on November 12. Accordingly, the three sought to facilitate trade, tourism and investment links via reforming administrative procedures, minimizing barriers, upgrading equipment, improving service quality and reducing fee structure. Officials reviewed the one-stop shop model being applied in the Lao Bao and Savannah International Border Gate for the future use at an international border gate between Muk Dahan and Savannakhet. The move aims at creating a uniform import-export and immigration processing system, especially on the East-West Economic Corridor that runs through the three countries. The annual conference helped spur the three localities' economies and reinforce their solidarity. Guangxi and Savannakhet have two pairs of bodegas, namely Lao Bao Dansavan and Lalai Salavan. Vietnam is the most promising market in Asia in terms of business and investment environment. The remarks were made by a Japanese businessman at the 17th Nikkei Global Management Forum in Japan. Akio Nitori, founder and president of the Japanese discount furniture store chain Nitori, held that Vietnam will see a rapid growth in the future, particularly people's incomes.
I believe that in Asia, Vietnam possesses the highest potential in terms of business and investment environment. Its infrastructure has been improved. Like Japanese, Vietnamese people are hardworking.
However, the businessman said, as compared to the US and Japan, in Vietnam, administrative procedures take time as they require various signatures. Both Vietnam and Japan are members of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which is expected to benefit members by removing tariffs. Japan's prospects of investment in Vietnam is quite apparent.
There has been not any Nitori shop in Vietnam so far. I hope in the next 5 or 10 years, Nitori shops will appear in Vietnam.
The 17th Nikkei Global Management Forum, held in Japan from November 10 to 11, attracted the participation of some 32 scholars, economic strategists, and successful entrepreneurs. It also drew the attendance of leaders of world-leading groups such as Panasonic and Boeing. Vietnamese FPT President Trương Gia Bình attended the event. Bình Dương province has reported it will move to attract high-tech and environmentally friendly investment projects into industrial parks to serve its sustainable development to 2020.
Head of the Provincial Management Board of Industrial Parks, Trần Văn Liễu, was speaking at a ceremony to mark the 20th founding anniversary of the authority in Bình Dương on November 12. The locality will prioritize the support industries that are able to join the global production chains and the spearhead industries, such as electricity, electronics, telecommunication, information technology, and mechanical engineering, he revealed. It plans to improve the operational efficiency of industrial parks and reinforce the infrastructure connectivity with the Southeast and Southern Key Economic Zone. Bình Dương is now home to 28 industrial parks covering 9,500 hectares, which are expected to increase to 35, spanning over 13,700 hectares by 2020. According to the Management Board, the annual average revenue growth in the industrial parks stood between 30 to 35% over the years. Between 2011 and 2015, businesses grossed about $32.5 billion in revenue, including $15.5 billion from exports, contributing some $800 million to the local state budget. Nearly 12,000 workers have been employed on an annual basis since 1995, increasing the total number of employees at the industrial zones to 240,000 at present.
The 15th VietnamChina International Trade Fair has kicked off in the northern border province of Lao Cai. Let's find out more.
With the theme Cooperation, Friendship for Mutual Integration and Development, the fair features 750 booths and an automobile exhibition section. On display is a wide range of products from both Vietnam and China, such as agro-forestry and aquatic products, wooden furniture, handicrafts, equipment and machinery. Within the framework of the fair, there will be exchanges and contract signing between businesses of Vietnam and China. The fair forms part of the National Trade Promotion Program. It has been held rotationally between Lao Cai Province of Vietnam and Yunnan of China. The event is expected to promote trade and tourism cooperation between Laos province in particular and Vietnam in general with southwestern provinces of China.
Japan will help Vietnam build nuclear power plants in the central province of Ninh Thuận with the highest level of international safety standards. Japanese counselor to Vietnam, Nakajima Yoshito, has said at a workshop in Ninh Thuận.
Japan will also assist Vietnam in training and ensuring safe and effective operation of nuclear power plants. The country is currently Vietnam's strategic partner in building nuclear power plants. Japanese experts on nuclear power stress the need to ensure safety in the field, saying safe and reliable nuclear power would contribute to reducing CO2 emissions as well as challenges to the development of renewable energy. Participants heard electricity companies from Japan would do their best to ensure safety and protect health of local people living near nuclear power plants. Daily environmental monitoring ensures the amount of radioactive substance and radiation generated from the nuclear power plants is lower than the limits.
More than 200 students from 20 high schools in the central city of Da Nang have participated in the contest on ASEAN and the ASEAN community. The competition aims to raise teachers and students' awareness about ASEAN, contributing to building an ASEAN community based on solidarity and sharing. The participating teams, 5 students and 1 teacher for each, competed in 7 categories: ASEAN Association, ASEAN Politics Security Community, ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community, ASEAN's External Relations, Vietnam's Participation, and ASEAN Member States. 2 other competitions on the ASEAN community were held for students in Hanoi in 2010. Since Vietnam was the ASEAN chair in 2010, the country has fostered the awareness about ASEAN, the ASEAN community, and Vietnam's policies on cooperation with ASEAN nations. 2 years ago, the Prime Minister approved a program of action on the popularization of ASEAN. The 3rd Latin American Film Week is screening 9 films from 9 Latin American countries. Let's take a look.
Movies to be screened include prize winners like The Liberator, Venezuela, Whiskey, Uruguay, Paradise, Mexico, and The Wind and the Water, Panama. The Film Week aims to introduce cultures of Latin American countries to the Vietnamese audience, as well as helping them understand more about Latin America and how its film producers observe the world.
The life of our liberator, Simón Bolívar, the name is The Liberator. It's a great production that has opportunity to see wonderful countryside from Latin America and many places of the world where our hero has passed his life. It's very interesting and it's a message of freedom.
Cinematheque Cinema at 22A Hai Ba Trinh Street, Hanoi, will host the Latin American Film Week with free admissions.
The Buckwheat Floral Festival is underway for the first time in the northern mountainous province of Hà Giang. Let's take a glance at the event.
The festival is held in Dong Văn districts of Qua Thet and 3 districts, Quan Ba, Yên Minh, and Mèo Vạc, from November 12th to 15th. Buckwheat in full bloom is a spectacular sight, drawing flocks of tourists to Hà Giang. The buckwheat plant grows in clusters of small pinkish-white flowers and produces triangular-shaped edible seeds. The ethnic Hmong cultivate 2 crops of buckwheat every year. The flowers are sensitive to sunlight, changing their color from white in the early morning to pink in the afternoon.
And that's the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.